us now Jonathan Greenblatt, CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League. You monitor constantly on social media.
Constantly.
I can only imagine at this point, conspiracy theories, blame, trying to shift blame. You're seeing it all.
We're seeing it all. So we track hate across social media platforms. We track it on different messaging applications. We track it on streaming services. What we saw, last week was a regular week. There wasn't an unusual spurt of anti-Semitism. But as soon as the fighting started, as soon as the sun rose on Saturday morning, we saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages surge on Telegram specifically, in these different semi-public chat rooms that they have. And we've seen waves of anti-Semitism on Twitter/X, on Instagram, on TikTok, ugly, horrible videos. But look,
how much of it do you think is organized? How much of it do you think is?
It's most definitely organized. So, and I think we should think about this. This is sort of the TikTok war, because we saw these people, and I'm not going to glorify them as fighters. I'm not going to dignify them as militants. They're barbarians who came in and literally executed elderly people, who kidnapped children, who raped and brutalized and murdered women. And I say this, we know this because they videoed it. They recorded it on cell phones gleefully and uploaded it. I spoke to a family in Israel this weekend. They burst into a home. They took the grandmother's phone, made her open it, recorded them killing her, and uploaded it onto her social media profile. Hers, her own execution. This is ISIS. This is Al-Qaeda. This is the Taliban on full display. And I don't know that we've ever seen a conflict like this before. But I saw Mohammed, who I deeply respect, and I've heard commentators talking about a cycle of violence. I don't believe in economic cycles. They're the result of what people do, decisions that people make. And in this case, this was a massacre. This was an unprovoked slaughter of hundreds upon hundreds of teenagers and innocent people. So let's not reduce it to a cycle that was inevitable. Let's call it what it was, a massacre.
We're talking.
I'm fired up. I'm sorry.
No, social media can exacerbate it, but it's the least of our problems right now. It's not the least of our problems, but it's always been bad, but that's not the key issue here. The key issue is these terrorists and what happened.
The key issue is the dehumanization of people.
And you think,
and that dehumanization, the
this
Nazis,
existed before social media, too.
Of course it did.
But you think this just exacerbates it?
Well, of course both those things are true. Yes, it is for social media, but millions upon millions of messages saying that Zionism is genocide. It is not. Saying that its resistance is legitimate, objectifying Jews and Israelis as if they were animals. That's how people come in and literally shoot and murder teenagers at a party, shooting them in the back while they run away, raping the women, and then taking them, and I'm sorry, I know we're on television, taking them with bloodied crotches and parading them around Gaza to cheering crowds. Right. The barbarity here is off the charts. And so I would just say this to all the producers watching today: please don't show the videos that look like, video games, like, if you will, with rockets coming. Show the videos of the Israeli women and children, the babies and elderly, as they have been mutilated and mocked.
Should social media, I'm sure some of these demonstrations that we're seeing, the pro, which is
we had them here
beyond the pale, are those being organized on social media too? And is there anything social media should that not be there?
Well, look, we've talked before. I've sat in this chair and I've said hate speech is the price of free speech. But incitement to violence is not some kind of protected free expression. And I think the platforms have to reckon with, do we amplify these hashtags? Do we recommend these when we know? Literally, here last night, here in New York City, in Times Square, down by the UN and by the ADL office, we had people marching in support of this madness. Now, again, there's historical precedent for this. They marched in Nazi Germany in support of the Third Reich. in support of dehumanizing Jews. And I must tell you, at this rally, there were people holding cell phones with swastikas on them. History will judge very poorly these people. And resistance against occupation, rape, mutilation, and murder is not resistance. I'm sorry, and it is unacceptable in any context.
Jonathan, Elon Musk, the supreme leader, Khomeini of Iran, posted something basically saying he wanted the eradication of Israel. Elon Musk took that and replied to it and said Khomeini's official position is clear that the eradication of Israel is the actual goal, not just supporting Palestinians. That will not happen. All that actually happens decade after decade is a never-ending cycle of violence and vengeance. Stoking the fires of hatred isn't working. Perhaps it is time to consider something else. He took Khomeini's original post out of the timeline, but it's still available. And it says, you know, this post violated X rules. However, X has determined that it may be in the public interest for the post to remain accessible. What do you say to that?
Look, I mean, the same day that we issued our statement last week, you know, about Elon and about clarifying our position on X, I called out the fact that Khamenei posted this tweet calling Israel a cancer that must be destroyed. This isn't idle talk when it's coming from a world leader. As we can see, and as the Wall Street Journal reported this morning, Khamenei and the IRGC met with Hamas and Hezbollah leaders last week and authorized this action. So to your question, Becky, I think it is reprehensible that this kind of propaganda, that this kind of incitement is allowed and amplified. I'm glad Elon said this is their goal, but when he makes the comment that this will just end up in another cycle of violence, again, I'm sorry. This was not an attack. It was a massacre, and it was engineered in Tehran, and we should literally not allow them to push this poison out.